Hello, 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 hello. Let me make sure I got my volume and stuff up. Looks like I do. Good morning. Good afternoon. Give it a few minutes. I see some thumbs up. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. All right. I see some folks in the chat. I'll make sure y'all can hear me. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Happy Sunday. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Linda. Good Sunday afternoon. Pat is okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. We're taking both of them. Hello. 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 Good afternoon, Stephen. Good to see you in the chat. Hi, Bridget. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. I missed y'all. I had laryngitis. I woke up last Sunday. I could talk just fine on Saturday. I woke up on Sunday and couldn't say a word. And my voice is still a little funny, as you can hear. But it is better than it was. I don't know exactly what happened. But I'm happy to be with y'all this Sunday. Hi, Bridget. Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Hi, Marissa. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. WLJ. Happy to see y'all's faces. Hi, Rosalind. I missed you too, Pat. Thank you. Thank you. Judith, good morning. I missed y'all too. I really had no intentions of not being here last Sunday, but I said apparently I'm supposed to rest because I could not talk at all. It was funny when I went to talk and realized my voice was not working. um, so that was a little bit of a surprise to me because I have been just fine on Saturday. So happy Sunday. I'm going to do my intro. We are going to talk about all the things today. Good afternoon. My name is Jewel Pearson. As I introduce myself, I say I built a fancy tiny house in 2015 because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others navigate their tiny house journey. And you will be able to find the links to schedule with me, to get on my schedule in the video description once this goes live. And as I'm doing all of that, I serve up a lot of representation in the movement as I'm doing all of that. I do want us to see ourselves. I want us to be represented. I want us to be successful in this movement and do all of the things. And so if you find this information, this conversation, this community, this video helpful, I hope you will like it. You will share it. And you will subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna borrow from Stephanie Perry. I'm gonna pause. So if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, that you'll do it right now and like this video. All right. Turn on the notifications so you'll know when content is live and available. So happy Sunday, folks. Glad you all can hear me. Happy to see folks in the chat. Thank you, Bridget. I appreciate that. I missed y'all too. Hi, Elle. Happy Sunday. Lorraine. Day is saying I am. Oh my God. Day is signing in from ER with a crab leg shell stuck in her throat, waiting on the CT scan report. Honey, you are in our thoughts. Hoping all goes well and they are able to handle that expeditiously. That sounds painful and scary. So sending you Much love. Oh, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. Hello, Nancy from San Diego. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. Rosalind, did I say hi to you? I think I did. Um, Happy Sunday. Happy, yeah, happy Sunday. So we didn't get a chance to chat last Sunday and prepare us for the week that we had ahead, and then all hell broke loose. Good afternoon, Shantavia. Yes, Marissa, same. Happy, happy Sunday to you. So we've had a time, folks. We've had a time. Hi, Michelle. Um, Pat, thank you. So I have just been taking care of myself this week, ever since Tuesday, as I know and hope that you all have been, processing what happened and where we are. I have to say, I was absolutely not surprised. I was disappointed, but absolutely not surprised. In some conversations that I have had with some folks since Tuesday, for some of the folks that were kind of caught off guard in what happened on Tuesday, I think part of why I wasn't surprised may have had to do with the fact that I have lived in rural America for the last 6 years, 5 or 6 years. The break during COVID, when I was in an apartment, but looking for a place for my tiny house because I'd had to move because of racism. Um, I wasn't, hi Audra, I wasn't surprised at all. I have seen this brewing for some time. I have seen the nastiness of this brewing for quite some time. And I think rural America presents not I think, I know rural America presents a very different view than some of the urban spaces where people have to act with some decorum. And so I was absolutely not surprised in where some folks were kind of caught off guard. And so for me, it was more of the same. It was another day, another day of folks showing us who they are and what they believe and what they think. And the crux of all of it is white supremacy. And what we have to talk about and what we need to be thinking about is what the long game strategy is. And that's what I want us to talk about today. Um, the title of the video, it's Chestnut Checkers, the long game strategy, or as the young people say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It is us. It is looking at the big picture, the whole picture, and evaluating and reevaluating as necessary. Um, Rosalind is saying the most disappointing and annoying part is not being addressed the fact that white women continue to overwhelmingly vote against their own best interests. I wasn't surprised about that either. I think 2016 showed us that we need to know that that's what they have the potential to do. The numbers showed us 1 in 2 of white women are going to vote against their own best interest, vote. And vote against their own best interest, or as I see it, vote for white supremacy, because at the end of the day, that is their leading theme, and so they're going to vote in that interest. So that part is in their interest, and so WLJ is saying I was caught off guard but not surprised. Hi, Robert. So that's what I wanted us to think about today and talk about today is the longer game strategy. Um, I don't play chess, and this is not a conversation. As I was thinking about this conversation, this is something that we've been talking about for a minute. So this isn't new conversation for us. This is the revisiting this conversation. This is the stuff that we should have been thinking about and have been thinking about for a while. And when I put the title of this video together, when I was saying it's chess, not checkers, I don't play chess, but I know the core principle of chess is strategy. Looking at the bigger picture, where checkers, I play checkers, where you just jumping and at in that moment. Chess is a long, slow game of strategy. I have been a runner at some point, and running long distance, half marathons. Let me be clear. I have never run a full marathon. As they say, I'm only half crazy. I've done seven or eight half marathons, so 13.1 miles. Um, that is also about strategy. It is specifically not coming out too fast, because you got a lot of miles to put in, and so you can't come out running at full speed. You've got to come out at a good pace, because you need that to hold your endurance to get you through the rest of the mile. So you can't just come straight out the gate with full speed. Thank you, Kitty. And for both of those, again, I don't play chess, but I know the understanding of chess, the understanding of running, is that you have to continue playing the game. You have to continue practicing in order to get better. In order to excel, you've got to practice. You have to spend time playing chess. You have to spend time running, building up to that mileage, and building up to getting good at chess and to being good at running. Um, and one of the things that I have seen this week, thank you, Audra. Thank you so much. Thank you. One of the things that I have seen this week in the socials from Black folks, and I'm clearly I'm talking to us, is that is folks saying, I've decided I got to leave the country. What country is best for me to go? I want to go to a country where they speak English. All of the things. I just decided this week that I've got to go. That's not good strategy. That is a reactive decision that doesn't have the core pieces of strategy in it. And when you move in haste like that, that's how you end up. What is it? Haste makes waste. That's how you end up making decisions that you end up having to undo, or you end up having some regret, or sometimes the mistakes are expensive because there wasn't the long game strategy in those in that plan. And so that's what I want us to step back and talk about and speak to right now. And thank you, Bridget, and kind of remind ourselves of what that long game strategy has to be, what the pieces that we need to be considering in our strategy. So WLJ says, I was caught off guard but not surprised at the same time. Pat is saying it's important to focus on our community, stop being distracted. Rosalind is saying the long game strategy is to check out of the American dream because it's an absolute nightmare. For us, the American dream is the American dream for the folks that this system was designed for, and this system wasn't designed for us. So it is working for us is exactly like it was designed, and that's the part that we have to realize. It is For us, it's that carrot in front of the horse to keep you going, but you're never going to reach it. And so we have to recognize that. Good morning, good morning. Cynthia Meredith saying not surprised but betrayed by many. And so I want to talk about that too. The betrayal that so many of us are feeling. Um, Hi, Kitty. WLJ is, excuse me, saying I have been in a really sunken place these past few days, but I'm breaking out of it. We're going to talk about that too. Um, um, Patty saying she knew that a woman of color had no chance. I mean, we're not in that that post-racial society, and so yeah. Rosalind is saying we. I know you meant to say we can't make moves based on emotion. Um, right, absolutely. Absolutely. Mother Green Earth, welcome. That's okay. Come on in. We're glad you're here. Doesn't matter that you're late. Come on in. Audra is saying there is no standing up straight in a crooked room built inside of a caste system. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Linda, and we all do, Linda. Absolutely. So if we step back to talk about the strategy, the long game, the things that we should be putting in place, or the things that should already be in place, because we've been talking about strategy for a while just for our overall goals. We've been talking about the benefits of downsizing and what that looks like, paying attention to our health, decluttering. We've been talking about holding on to our joy. We've been talking about all of the things for some time now, like understanding what our goals are and how we get there. And so this should really be just more of a review for us, because over here, this is the stuff that we've been focused on, because we kind of have already seen we might not have imagined it would get so ugly like it got on Tuesday, but we've already known that we've already seen all of the signs of who the United States is. And so that is the work that we have been doing. And so when we're talking long-term strategy, that's the goal. Instead of the reactive, I got to leave the country, where can I go? The proactive has been that long-term goal. What are you doing and why? And not being reactive. So as I've shared my long term strategy, when it started many years ago with my tiny house and building a tiny house so that it could afford me a different lifestyle. And I've shared so many times that there's liberation in my tiny house journey. I've also shared tiny houses aren't for everybody, but as we've been talking about downsizing, and remember I say a tiny house doesn't have to be my style of house. A tiny house can be looking around and realizing I'm in these 3,000 square feet and I'm only using a fraction of it. The cost, if I reduce my surroundings, I reduce my things, I have the opportunity to reduce my cost, and then that is adding to your financial bucket. And so we're not always saying folks have to live in a tiny house, but we're also recognizing that downsizing, there's some liberation and freedom in lightness, in decluttering, and there's some physical liberation, and there's also that mental and emotional liberation. And so that is the part that we've been talking about for a while. So we're already ahead in our long game strategy. We're already playing chess and not checkers. We've already identified what our long term goal is. And again, we didn't identify that goal in the context of Tuesday, but we identified that that goal in the context of knowing this bigger picture and what the United States has always been about. And so our core shouldn't be shaken because we're on that long game strategy, and we know. So people. WLJ said, "I've been in the bad place." Our core shouldn't be shaken. We can always take some time to mourn. Like that's That's normal. That morning piece is normal. Spending a little bit of time in that morning place, but not staying there, because we got to get back up, and we got to get back up fast. Like, we don't have time to dwell in mourning and allow what's happening outside of us to negatively impact us, so that we can't continue to focus on our long game strategy. The outside of the long term goal, we've also been talking about what our building that goal, and what is the foundation to achieve that goal. So we've been talking about learning, getting the education. I always share, for somebody who is interested in downsizing, decluttering, tiny houses, I offer consultations. There are plenty of people that are out here in our community that offer some type of consultations, education, support, some teams, some the resources to help you understand how to build a foundation for your goal. Um, One of the things Rosalind always talks about is YouTube University. The resources are out there, and we have been thinking and working on that foundation. I always say, I always have the people who say, I don't feel like I should pay for a consultation. Some of this stuff out here is for free. This Sunday stuff is for free. But when you need to get to the core of getting your foundation, and time is of the essence, and we talked about this yesterday in our meetup. Time versus money versus actually achieving something. If you're spinning your wheels trying to find information when there's some experts, there are 10 experts over here who've already done this, then is it worth it for you to invest in spending time with that expert to help you get to where you need to be, versus wasting time and not being willing to pay for some expertise? That's a consideration. So we've got knowing our long-term goal, we've got working on the foundation to achieve that goal, and the things that build that foundation for the goal. And again, we've been talking about that for a while. So none of this should be new to us. This might be where we are revisiting our goal. We might have to tweak our goal based on maybe some things that happened Tuesday that make you need to tweak your goal a little bit. But we shouldn't be pulling the rug out from underneath ourselves, and having to start from ground zero, because we've already known this was out in the atmosphere. If you are at the part where you're having to pull the rug out and start all over, it's not the worst thing in the world. You just got to catch up, and you got the resources around you to help you catch up. It's not in all despair, but I'm hoping that this wasn't pull the rug out from underneath you, and now I got to figure out all the things. If it is, again, it's. I mean, we're not judging. We're here to help you get to where you need to be. But we've got to have our long-term goal. We've got to have the things there for our foundation to achieve that long-term goal. And then the third point I had, and I'll drop these points in the video description, is the flexibility. And we've been talking about this for quite some weeks. Some of the guests I've had, when we've been talking about downsizing, Christine Platt was talking about the emotions and the things involved in downsizing. I spoke with Stephanie and Rashida when we were talking about the lightness and the ability to be nimble and make some moves. We've got to be flexible. We have got to be in a place where we are shedding the things that are holding us down, because as we head into this new era of terror, we need to be able to make moves quickly, not making reactive moves. We're not doing reactive things, because we've got a long-term goal. We've got the foundation for that goal, but we also are able to be nimble to make some moves. And because we don't have stuff weighing us down. And so that is the physical decluttering. That is the mental decluttering. That is the emotional decluttering. That is all of the things that put us in the position to move nimbly, and that flexibility. So we got the goal, we got our foundation, and we know that in all of this, we have to be adaptable, we have to be nimble. We can't, Marissa is saying, shed those dead leaves. Absolutely. We have to get that stuff off of our back. I don't like when people say monkey off my back. I don't know why that bothers me. But the things that are weighing us down, that um, are not allowing us to move at an easier, move with ease, move with lightness. Um, then and I've seen quite a few comments already about this. The fourth part of this chess, not checkers, this long term strategy, this goal, this big picture, is our relationships and our community. And this is, we've been also been talking about this. I have shared, and Pat just was saying, um, about investing in community, and if you're not, then getting blocked. I have shared my journey over the last, especially since the mini stroke, of getting in community. I haven't been, I won't say I've been resistant to community. I move, um, very much alone. And I have been, um, no, I'm not tearing up, but thank you, Robert. I'm used to moving by myself. I have, really worked these last few months in being more in community. I've had to be in community because I have needed people more than I've needed people any time in my life. And so we've talked about the vulnerability. I think we were just talking about that the other week. The vulnerability in, when you've kind of stepped away from relationships because you've been burned, or have had bad experiences, and you kind of step back from it. Right now is the time that we have to be vulnerable enough to get ourselves in community. We are going to need each other. We need each other. Hi, Effie. We need each other. Get in community. Find your people. That is so important. If you, we always talk about Exodus Summit. If your plan is to leave this United States of America, get in community, get over there with an accountability partner, somebody who is doing the things that you're doing. If your plan is, so for me, I keep sharing, my tiny house is so key to my liberation. If your plan is a tiny house, if your plan is downsizing, if your plan is decluttering, if your plan is, community, tiny house community, this is the place to be. This is, find your people. Find your people that are doing the things. If you need some financial assistance, we got a whole bunch of black folks that um, are in that financial space. That, Brown Girls Invest too. D. Um, I'm losing my names, but there are. Hi, darling. There are places, communities you can get in, that you need to be in, that if you're not in, you need to be in right now. And if it takes being uncomfortable to get into community, if it takes being vulnerable, and I as I talk to this, with you all every Sunday, I say I'm not saying anything that I haven't to you all that I haven't had to say to myself. Tracy is a witness to it. That vulnerability, and I'm not saying just step in it head first and don't, have some of those safety guards up, so that you recognize when you need to cut left, because maybe this ain't exactly my community. I need to go over here. But you have to be in community. We're not at this point. We cannot do any of this alone. We should not be doing any of this alone. Um, so that's my point 4, and that's a big point. Like, You know what your goal is. You know what you're working on. You can have multiple goals, but you know what it is. And if you don't have your goals right now, you need to be spending some time over these next few months. But we've got our goals because we've been working on this. But if you need to readjust them, these are goals that you should be having on paper. Like, you need this vision, not just in your head. This is stuff that you should have written out and you should be thinking through. How to get your foundation to achieve these goals. If that looks like a project plan, a financial plan, if it looks like a team of people to help you get to these goals, you should also have that outlined in writing. Um, and then our third point that we were just talking about is the flexibility, being nimble. And the fourth point, like, they're all very key to this long game strategy. They're all very important. The community, the relationships is going to be the glue that's going to help you hold together all of those other things. So it is also very important. And then this is one that I've seen, like where WLJ said I've been in a bad place. My post on Wednesday was in my black joy being my resistance. We have to hold on tight to our joy. Hold on tight to our joy. Like, we can't go into a mode of terror and a mode of stress and a mode of all the business at hand without holding on to our joy, holding on tight to our joy. Someone, when I said black joy is resistance, and when I said in my post that black joy is power, black joy is liberation, black joy is all of that. You will find black joy in community. You should be able to find black joy in just who you are as your blackity black self. Um, we're not shrinking. Um, we're heading into a era of terror where they want us to shrink. We're not shrinking. We are who we are. We are proud. Our ancestors have survived worse. We will survive. We will not only survive, we will thrive. We are not shrinking. We are going to be black. We are going to be in our black joy, and we are going to be happy. That community is going to help with that. Stress kills. Like, we've been talking about since December the 23rd, when Jewel Pearson experienced a mini stroke. We have been really focused on stress killing. If you're not holding on tight to your joy, and if you're just focused on the black and white of this era of terror that's getting ready to happen, then you are not holding on to your joy, and you're stressing yourself out. You're stressing your body, you're stressing your mind, you're stressing all of the things. We're not doing that. We are staying in our joy. We are laughing, we are loving, we are doing all of the things that bring us joy, and taking time to still have hobbies and read and all of the things which we're part of that joy is prioritizing our mental and emotional well-being. It is, and we're still talking about, as we've been talking about our health, we know we're advocating for ourselves. We're continuing to advocate. We might even be advocating even harder as we go into this time period. But we are focused on ourselves as the priority. We are working on our self-care. And then as part of that self-care, we're working like hell to maintain our boundaries. Like, boundaries at this point are going to be so critical, because not only are we dealing with white supremacy from the majority of the white men who voted the way they did, from the one of two white women who voted the way that they did. We know Latino men and women, how they voted. We know some of our black folks, how they voted. So I lost my word. White supremacy doesn't have to be enacted. That's not the word I wanted, but that's the only word I got right now. Just by white folks. Harriet taught us that. Sometimes it's the black and brown folks that will perpetuate white supremacy. So boundaries are going to be important. Boundaries might look like, Marissa is saying there are campaigns to intentionally steal our joy. Hold on tight. Absolutely. Boundaries might be at the family Thanksgiving table. I am clear. I had a friend laughing the other day. He was talking about a classmate that was a Trump supporter and very open about it on their social media pages. And I think I had unfollowed her, but I hadn't unfriended her. Unfriend, unfriend is my thing. I can unfriend in life. Like, it's very easy on the socials, but it is also something that you can do in life. It is Boundaries are going to be so important. I am not, like, people keep posting that we don't have to disagree on our politics. That's some BS. If you have voted in a way that is perpetuating white supremacy, and we're not talking about any of the other things like, there's so much other nastiness and ugliness, but the core of it is hate and white supremacy. If you have voted in that way, then you have voted against me, black, brown, white, Latin, whatever you are. You have voted against who I am, and that boundary is a hard stop. I don't have to we not disagreeing because you had a different opinion. A different opinion be damned. We are hard boundaries because I am protecting my peace. I am protecting my joy. I am protecting my blackness. I am protecting my life, my safety, all of the things. This is important. Like, this ain't a game. We're talking about chess, not checkers, long-term strategy, but it ain't a game. This is life. The police immunity that is about to happen. This is life. Like, the police brutality was already a major issue. Now you're talking about police immunity. What are we even talking about? The shit can go down at any given moment. This is my life. This is my safety. Um, Alliances. I ain't really gonna try to talk to that, because I'm at the point where it ain't no new friends. Like, I have some white friends that have been here for a while, that I know how they roll. Like, I know how they operate. So white men, the majority of white men voted this way. One of two white women voted this way. I don't have time to figure out, did you vote this way? Like, which one of y'all? I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. No new friends. Alliances, and I ain't trying to tell y'all what to do, other than saying, those you got to proceed with caution. I'm not I'm not going to be the diversity council, or I'm not doing it. I'm just not, because I don't have time to figure out. I don't care nothing about them damn blue bracelets. Y'all can miss me with the blue bracelets. I don't have time for any of that. We are at, and have been for a while, life or death for black folks. And this is no time to figure out later down the line that I thought you were on this side, but I recognize you were on this side. I don't have time for that. Um, and then the other piece of that, as we are prioritizing our mental and emotional well-being, it also has to be about limiting your social media consumption. What are you taking into your mind? That's just as important. Like, we've been talking about eating better and doing better in that way. But what are you allowing into your psyche and into your mind? You can go watching all of that stuff. Like, I did not watch any of the debates prior to. I didn't need to see them. I don't need that angst in my, like, that's a stress to me. I don't need that. Um, Trying to read and listen to all of the things, the analyzation of what happened and the whys, and I don't need all of that. That is that's for me, that's taking poison into my system. I don't need that. You do what works for you, but also know that is part of our prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being. This is the long game is about our health. If we're not healthy, if we're not emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, what are some other the E spiritually, well, then we can't proceed. And so we have to stop and get all of that in alignment. It's the long game strategy. It's chess. It's not checkers. Um, I, we accountability groups. If you know you are not where you need to be in achieving your long-term goals, that's where community comes in play. That's also where accountability groups come in play. I personally know I could use some accountability, and I'm putting myself in those places to help me. We can't do this as islands. We need each other, and so absolutely, Catherine. So we're focused on the long game. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It is, we running long miles and we have to pace ourselves, but we also have to, um, like that, where I'm saying that being nimble and being flexible. When I first started running, um, I had all of the gadgets, all of the things. And I remember my first half marathon. And I realized in the first few miles, I had too much stuff on me. And I ended up like, I had on a hat. I realized the hat was making me hold heat in my body, so I was overheating. And one of the things that you'll see on the race course is stuff just over in the grass, shirts, hats, stuff that people have had on that they probably didn't run with in their practice runs, but they, whatever, you got to the race day and you wanted to try this thing. They always tell you don't try a pair of new shoes on race day. That's kind of just common sense, but you end up with sometimes with too much stuff on race day, and that's really something for a new runner, that you have all of this stuff and it ends up being on the side of the course. Um, and sometimes it's there when you go back to pick it up, and sometimes it ain't. But what you learn is, in order to achieve the goal of finishing this race, this stuff was too heavy, so I had to discard it. I had to shed it. What are we having to shed? And again, we talk about stuff in that downsizing process. Generally, we're focused on stuff, but I've said to you all many times, it is people, places, and things that we are often needing to shed. And now is the perfect time to analyze what those people, places, and things look like, that we need to let go of. This is within that boundaries. If you've been hesitant, you kind of needed to let something go, or somebody go, or something go, and now is the time to be making some hard decisions, because we've got to. There's really no time for procrastinating. And we're not operating in a place of fear. We're not operating. I'm not trying to scare anybody. That's not my tactic at all, because we don't operate or move in fear. One of the things that I've shared with you all in my navigating my stroke was learning to reframe things from the perspective of, not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? And this is one of those times, like, why is this happening? And what from this, what is it that I can be doing differently? Why is this happening for me? We're not victims. We're not operating in fear. We're not, woe is me. We know who the U.S. is. We know white supremacy. This shit ain't nothing new. Um, we're operating from an educated, long game strategy. We're operating from a place of community and support and accountability. We're operating from a place of reciprocity. We're not talking about being in the in community or an accountability group and you're taking and you're not giving. Um, One of the things that in some of these, like I'm in a lot of Black expat groups, and I'm seeing people come into the group and say, "Tell me where I need to go," and tell me, and they're not doing their own due diligence and they're not searching and doing the work. That's going to get exhausting when you're coming into these groups and you're expecting somebody to tell you what you need to be doing and giving you all the answers. We've got to do some of our own work. There's got to be some self education, and we've also got to be, instead of just taking, we also have to be giving something. And then we also, and as we're doing all of this, we also have to be cautious in what it is that we're sharing out, who we're sharing out to, where we're sharing out. I'm not. I'm not. I don't want to be the person that says we're operating in fear and the conspiracy theorists. And now we all gotta have walkie talkies. I'm not doing any of that because I mean, at this point, it's damn satellites, I'm sure, that can hear every damn thing you saying, whether you whispering on the walkie-talkie or you talking to the person standing right beside you. We already know that. But it is also not just putting all your information out there as a free-for-all for everybody to know. It is being cautious as we attend stuff, as we check in. I have gotten to the point where most times I'll share stuff after the fact, or I'm very cautious about if I'm traveling and I post a picture and somebody says, "Well, where are you?" and they want to know some details. Uh, you don't need to know where I am exactly, and so we have to be cautious in that manner. Um, we're not operating in fear, we're not running in fear, we're not getting ready to be scared, but we are getting ready to be smart, and we're not getting ready to be smart. We're going to continue being smart because we've been being smart, but we've just got to step up the game and amplify our long game strategy. um, all right, so I know I missed a bunch of comments because y'all know I can't talk and multitask. So I'm going to go back and see some of the comments that I may have missed. Um, I'm going way back. Let's see. Right, Pat. A lot of fear discussions, and that's what I was talking about from the beginning. We can't make decisions from fear and expect to be successful. So we've got to operate from a more educated, um, taking a step back and making decisions and moves wisely. Hi, Chanel. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Carolina Care Community. Michelle is saying, I went to work Wednesday in corporate America, and although I knew I was never protected in those spaces, now I know for sure it's unsafe. Absolutely. Um, Again, I have said that I have had a different view and perspective living in rural America, as I have been in my tiny house. So I have known the feeling of not being safe. Like I've shared, there are certain roads I don't go on at night. That's not something you really consider in urban areas, but that is something that I've known, and I'm not above saying that physical safety, the things that we need to have to ensure our physical safety, classes we need to take to be able to ensure our physical safety, absolutely. We need to do all of those things. Our heads have to stay on swivel. Again, not operating from a place of fear, but also knowing that um, craziness is real. Folks are empowered. Sorry, y'all hear my voice. Folks are feeling empowered. Folks are feeling froggy. We've seen some of those things happening already, and so we have to be focused on our personal safety. Like we would be fools not to understand that we really need to be focused on our personal safety as well. Um, Tracy is saying, hi, Tracy. I'm a mental health therapist and allowed myself to feel some feelings, but I'm not staying there. We cannot afford to stay there. Absolutely not. And if a mental health therapist, Marissa also told us that, is you can't stay there. They felt it, so it's normal to feel this, but we can't stay there. Like, we can't dwell in those places. We have to, again, hold tight to our joy and move out of those spaces. And if you find yourself not being able to move out of that space, again, that's where our community comes. Tracy, who is in San Miguel, reached out to ask me how I was feeling after the election, and I appreciated that. If we need to if you are feeling like you can't come out of that place, you are feeling a bit of despair. We all process things differently. Get in some community, reach out to somebody and say, "Hey, I need some time. I need a few moments to take care of yourself." Um, we've always had to be the most resilient, which it doesn't always. And that also leads to our stress and our health problems and all of the things, um, which is in that holding on to our joy and making sure we're establishing our boundaries and we want to be resilient, but we also don't want to work ourselves into um, overwork ourselves. Like, we still want to enjoy life. We still want to have ease, especially Black women. We deserve ease, and not having to be the the fixers and the core of the earth and the workers, and we still deserve ease. And so, in that resilience, we still have to focus on allowing ourselves some softness and ease, and being in spaces that we can do that. Um, Long-term strategy requires learning about the people who have to try to stay above us as a race. We can't be lazy and just go with the status quo. Absolutely not. And we're not a lazy people, so we've got a heads up there. Even though people want to paint us as lazy, we're not lazy. But we do have to learn and watch their moves, because they've been playing from the long game strategy for quite some time. That Project 2025, it wasn't something that they just threw together. This is something that they've been working on, and so we also have to have our long game strategy. Um, Rosin is saying we also need to review the Black Brown coalition, because it is clearly one sided. They don't care about themselves, and definitely not us. I had said I was going to stop using the BIPOC reference. I normally say Black and Brown folks. I feel like the brown folks showed us, and they continue to show us, and our community is always the outreach, and we want to gather folks in. And right now, what is it? Christine taught us to be chiefly concerned with our own priorities. I think I messed that up. I'm going to look on. I have it on my Instagram page. Um, the things that we're focused on have to be so. We have to be focused on self. So Christine said, selfishly and unapologetically be chiefly concerned with your own profits and pleasure. Now is the time. Like, it's been the time, but now is the time. Absolutely, we are self focused, um, because not we that reciprocity isn't there, and that was I was talking about, not taking and not giving. We also can't always be on the other side of the giving, and folks just keep taking and don't give back. Um, Tracy is saying, just got our passports and planning a short trip somewhere between February and March. Need to see other places and scouting future places for residents. That's beautiful. Travel will help you open your mind. Travel will help you realize that, as America likes to throw out that nasty third world country, or have you thinking folks are miserable and living in squalor and all of the things everywhere else. Travel will get you out there and recognize those folks are happy. Those folks are eating well. Those folks revere their seniors in their community, their elderly folks. They revere family, and it absolutely opens your mind to something different. Um, I don't. I've not said I want to live out of the country full time. Y'all know I have said I want to live out of the country a few months at a time. That absolutely can change depending on how stuff goes down. But I want to, going back to where I said the flexibility and the to be able to be nimble. I want to be in a position so that when I decide I need to change my mind and do something different, that I can do that. But I'm glad you got your passports. I've also shared, I keep my passport on me. Like I don't want to have to go home and find my passport. And I ain't trying to tell nobody how to manage their passport. I just keep mine with me because if I need to go, I need to go, and I don't want to have to. Um, I can buy some clothes. I can buy some clean underwear. I just need my passport so I can go, and that's how I'm moving. Um, Pat is saying, I agree with one of the expat channels when abroad. A person stated we need to stop being accepting and allowing others to be part of our transformation. I am trying to be strategic with our words, with my words. We read between the lines. Pat, we know what you're saying. Everybody can't come. Everybody can't come. Everybody can't sit at the table. When folks always be talking about they can come to the cookout, no new friends. Everybody can't come. If they weren't already at the table, if they haven't already established themselves to be somebody that is trustworthy, um, we don't we don't we don't have to keep opening the door. We don't have to keep being the welcome wagon folks when folks just keep giving us their ass to kiss. We don't have to be that, and I'm not being that. Um, One of my friends, 2018, and I tease him about this all the time. He sat on my couch in my tiny house, and as I was talking to him about how I had started establishing boundaries, because I've been a people pleaser for so much of my life. I'm the giver, and the giver who ends up feeling some type of way sometimes because people are takers. And it started in my 40s, and I started establishing my boundaries and working on that, because when when you're the giver and people keep taking, at some point you got to look at yourself, because you've allowed people to take from you. Like, you can't really be mad at them because they taken, because you've just been giving. So you got to look at self. And so when I started doing that self work and I started establishing those boundaries and doing things differently, it was different for people because that's not who I had always been. And so 2018, he sat on my couch and said, "You're mean." And so I chuckled. And I said, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not even offended at that, because that means you see me moving differently. And you're only saying I'm mean because I'm not acting as, um, I'm not as accommodating. I'm not the doormat as I have been in some times past. The funny part for me in this conversation is now in around 2023, he's gone through some things and is reevaluating. He talks to me all the time about what he ain't doing and what he ain't tolerating. And I just chuckle, and I sat back and I said to him sometimes, and I say, "Oh, you're mean." And so I said, "Welcome." And I'm happy that you're here in this place when you thought I was mean, and you recognize this. Some of this is necessary. No new friends. Everybody can't be at the table. We don't have to be the welcome wagon. We don't have to be, as much as they're trying to remove the D&I stuff from everything, from the history, from the books, all of the things. They don't want you talking about none of it at school. They're going to rewrite history. Why do we have to still be the diversity counselor and open and welcoming? When people keep showing, Maya taught us, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So we believe in them. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Um, let's see. Um, Absolutely, Pat. I agree with that. Sharon is saying consumerism is the engine of capitalism, disengaged by decluttering and downsizing. That is revolutionary. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, the liberation in decluttering and downsizing people, places, and things. There is a lightness in downsizing, decluttering people, places, and things. And it is absolutely revolutionary. The decluttering of your mind so that you can see things in a new way, you can move in a different way. When you're focused on your joy and you're doing the things to keep yourself healthy. A therapist, like one of the things that stands out for me in my with my therapist friends is when my therapist friends say, I was talking to my therapist. When your therapist friend knows that they need a therapist, the rest of us common folks definitely need a therapist. When you're doing that work to take care of yourself, that lightness is absolutely revolutionary because can't nobody get you. Because you are doing the work to take care of self and you are able to move in a way that is just magic. Absolutely. Um, Kitty is saying, despite the devastation and disappointment, our ancestors gave us the blueprint for this season and time. God didn't bring us this far to leave us. Don't allow the anger of the outcome to manifest fear. Absolutely not. I've said that several times. We are not moving in fear. We have the blueprint of what our ancestors had to endure as the enslaved for so long. We have the blueprint of our ancestors in Jim Crow, and what they endured and survived. The thing, or the person who said to me they didn't understand how to find joy in this time, and that was my question to them. Do you think our ancestors never had joy? Do you not think, of course, they had a lot of terror, but they still found times for joy. They still had families. They had children. They went to church. They had their worship. They had joy. They had some joy because you got to find your place of joy. Otherwise, you're gonna go crazy. And they weren't going crazy. I mean, they were dealing with a whole hell of a lot, but they still found their places of joy. They gave us a blueprint. Harriet gave us the blueprint in telling us that she couldn't save everybody because some folks didn't know they needed to be saved, which is when I've said before that it's not just white people who perpetuate white supremacy. Harriet told us that we have the blueprint. This ain't new. The history that they don't want us to be able to read in the books. We know this. We have to hold on to that because this isn't charting new territory. This is this is more of the same. Absolutely. Chanel, I think if anything, this election cycle reinforces what we and those who came before us already know. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tracy is saying, get a trade that you can use and take anywhere. Absolutely. We've long said that we've been so focused on making sure we send kids to college. And I'm not saying college ain't where you should go if that's where you need to go. But we also need the trades. You can make some stuff, build a computer, build a house, do some hair, do some do some nails, do something. What's your skill set? What's your passion? What's your hobby? That's the money that you can be making to sustain yourself. And that's the thing that folks can't take away from you. Absolutely. Now is the time to be in the right mindset. If there was any time, the time is now. The time is now to get yourself together. Again, I ain't saying nothing to y'all that I ain't having to say to myself. Get it together. My part of Tuesday, after Tuesday, waking up Wednesday, part of why I didn't feel despair was I was proud of myself because I am moving in ways to, for my long game strategy, moving my house, where I've been talking to you all about the effort. And it's going to be effort to move my house. It's going to be effort. It's going to be expense. It's going to be strategy because it is moving several pieces and parts at different times. My pod so that I can empty out my sunroom so I can start the process of moving that. My pod comes Wednesday, and so packing up. It is a whole orchestrated strategy. But Wednesday when I woke up, I was proud that I have already been working on this. Because it also not only does it allow me to be in community. So from my health perspective, it takes me out of the very rural America that I am in right now. It takes me to a step up, and that's some safety. And so I've been working on that. Like I've been working on my strategy, my travel. I've been working on my strategy, and so I didn't feel despair. I didn't feel lost because I've been working on my big goals, my end game, my chess game. There's still a lot of stuff that I need to do. There's some tweaking, some things I need to work on to continue growing my business and to figure out what that looks like. But I'm not starting at ground zero, and we're not starting at ground zero because we've been having these conversations, and that felt so good for me on Wednesday. And that is where we need to be going, like celebrating the 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 small accomplishments. Like if in your downsizing you clean out a closet today, celebrate. That's major. It's a closet, yeah, small closet, but if you throw away a pile of papers on a chair today, celebrate because it is chess, not checkers, and it's going to take all of those pieces to pull it together for the long game. So absolutely, we have to be in our right mindset. Um, Roslyn, Roslyn had a plan for the blue bracelets. Yeah, my mama is calling me right now. How you know when your mama ain't watching you on YouTube? Let me tell her. I'm gonna call her right back. Um, okay. Pat is saying focusing on the long communities are extremely important. Local communities keep resources, skills, experience, and knowledge within our own communities. Stop sharing info with the enemy. Um, that goes back to, it's been at least a year ago. Some folks weren't happy when I said that um, integration wasn't necessarily a thing that helped us. um, we lost our community cohesiveness. We lost the looking out for each other. We lost knowing the next door neighbor was the banker, the person across the street was the doctor. Like skill sets were developed to create community for the bigger, um, the whole of the community. And you leaned on each other. You knew everybody. Looked out for each other. And then as integration, and I'm not saying we looked out for each other. Um, I'm not saying we need to be segregated. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there was a race for proximity to whiteness because living in a society that celebrates and perpetuates white supremacy, that proximity to whiteness is a whole drug, and folks feel like the closer I can get to white folks, the better I am. There was a lot of that moving into the neighborhoods that made you feel like you were achieving the American dream and you were successful because you lived in a more diverse neighborhood, and that proximity to whiteness. Proximity to whiteness played a whole part in how folks voted because when you consider who they voted for, he could give a damn about black and brown folks, but proximity to whiteness is a whole hell of a drug. So, um, getting in community, getting in our community so that we are protecting ourselves and our interest and our knowledge and our all of the things. I agree with that. See, Janet is saying, I have been downsizing and decluttering since 2018. It transcends things. It clears your mind and soul as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Audra, community, absolutely. Um, WLJ is saying, America has shown its entire ass. I'm finding myself side eyeing everyone I'm coming in contact with and questioning if they are friend or foe, ally or adversary. I find myself side eyeing folks as well. I'm not questioning where they stand. I don't care. I am automatically like from a um, I haven't ever been in the military, but I imagine when you go to war, everybody has to be the enemy. Like you, you don't have time to determine good guy, bad guy, and that's kind of where I am. Like they're not; these folks aren't critical to my being, so I'm just assuming everybody is until I have to, until something, and it's not going to be a damn blue bracelet until for whatever reason I have to I am shown something different. I don't really care at this point. Again, I'm back at no new friends. Like I have established the allies that I know who they are and I have in my corner, and the others, they gonna have to work to show themselves. I'm not asking the question. If they can do the work. I'm not. Black women have done enough. I ain't doing no more work. Not doing it. So I'm side eyeing them as well, and I'm making it my business to kind of stay away from them. I was in the coffee shop this morning and recognized I was the only in the coffee shop, and it's probably about 60, 70 people in there, and I was the only. And what I recognized is my tolerance level and like my tolerance level has been low. My tolerance level is probably in the negative numbers at this point because I'm standing in line and people are moving through and they're not saying excuse me and stuff like that. And I feel like what they need to know is right now, like everybody's on edge, and so um, back, give me 50 feet. The 6 feet from COVID, the use your manners. Make sure you're saying excuse me. I might let you in traffic. I might not. I might hold the door. I might not because I am, I am giving what I have been receiving. And I'm not going out of my way, the kindness. And, this kind of goes back to my friend who said, oh, you so mean. Self-preservation. Like I'm not going to keep putting myself out there for people to give me their ass to kiss, and that reciprocity is real, and right now folks are showing us who they are, and I don't have to go out of my way to be the kind person. I don't have to go out of my way to be the giving person when that's not who they're trying to be. And so I'm not questioning. I don't care. I'm just steering clear as much as possible. um, Yeah, V, I can imagine. A federal government contractor in DC is not where I want to be right now. We're sending you love, honey. Day is Day checked in so we know how Day is doing in the emergency room? Day let us know what's going on. Let's see what else. Let's see. Everybody's saying thank God for community. Um, WLJ says I'm on a mission to find my community because I've already been removing myself from tables that no longer serve me. Absolutely. Y'all know that poster. We talked about this too. But the poster I have in my house, Nina Simone said, "Learn to leave the tables where love is no longer being served." And I purposely have that in my home because it is a reminder to me because I know sometimes I can sit at the table longer than I should, and I'm not trying to do that. And that has been in my house. Mm, I think I've had it since about 2018. The reminder to leave those tables. Absolutely. Um, Pat is saying, I wish we had landline phones or pay phones. Old school communication. I mean, at this point, I think that's kind of what I was saying. Like at this point, we have to assume they've got satellites that can hear the damn conversation that we're having right now, that I'm having. because we're on the internet. Like we can't go back to um, the what was it, the pony that took the news around. Like we can't regress to those levels. Um, uh, we can consider using things like WhatsApp that are encrypted. Um, is it WhatsApp that I was talking about? Yes, WhatsApp. Um, but we also have to know that the technology is already there, that there ain't much secret right now anyway, and move accordingly. Um, let's see. Catherine is saying, the joy of the Lord is my strength. I will continue to look to the lighthouse, not the White House. Absolutely. In that, in the taking care of our mental health, like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about joy, and when how that looks like your spiritual practice, your meditation, your prayers, your whatever sustains you spiritually, making sure you're tapping into that as you're tapping into your community. That's important, and I agree with that. Absolutely. Unfriending folks, projecting peace and joy. Absolutely. It is not a difference of opinion. It is not. We are not the same. It is not. Hey, Teresa. It is not. It is not. It is not. Um, Michelle says nobody has time to search for blue bracelets on white women. Are you kidding me? If y'all don't get out of here, and it's so funny to me to see the conversations happening on social media, and the white women are offended that we aren't okay with their little damn blue bracelets. It's the what was the pink hats, the pea hats, and the safety pins. Ain't nobody got time to check your attire to see if you safe. Who's doing that? Not me. I don't care. I don't care. Um, Marissa's like, no more free labor for me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I keep saying this is I give free stuff, and some of my folks have to remind me I do give free stuff, but when somebody is asking me for free labor, one of the things that I have had to think about to put this in perspective, post having a stroke, I could be somewhere taking a nap instead of get somewhere giving somebody some free labor. I give the free stuff, but I would rather take a nap than give somebody some free stuff, their expectation. I can take care of me. I can read a book. I can paint my nails. I can do all the things, but I'm not doing free labor. I'm my priority. Absolutely not. That time has passed. Absolutely. Keep your peace. Um, Shutting down negative conversations and removing folks. Absolutely. Audra says she hung wallpaper on election night. That I don't watch TV. I've shared that with you all. My TV is always on the screensaver. I came into the city the morning of the election because I knew the propensity to BS was high in my rural space. If no matter who won, the propensity for BS and potential danger was there, and so I came into the city, and I have been here since Tuesday. I'm headed home soon, but and that was Tuesday was the first I watched TV and found myself um, watching it late into the night, and that was unusual for me. So I'm back to I don't watch TV. I got other stuff to do. I don't need to know all of this other stuff. It has been established what it's going to be, and we all have to move accordingly. Like there's no pundit, no analysis that I need to listen to explain what happened and why it happened. And folks have shown us who they are. That is what it is for me. JW is saying a day late and a dollar short with those blue bracelets. Like put all that money toward giving us some reparations. Because you know they quick to say go back to Africa since y'all mad. Give us some reparations. Give us some money. That instead of some damn blue bracelets, put some money together. Um, them blue bracelets. Go buy some stuff for some black women because we tired. Um, Chanel saying I don't have Twitter, and the things that we support from business, your financial support is for folks like that. As soon as the idiot Elon took over Twitter, I closed my Twitter account. I do have his Starlink because it is my only access to the internet in the deep rural place where I live. But when I tell y'all, once I get out of there and I don't have to use Starlink and I have had to invest in equipment and all of the things, first of all, it's expensive. And secondly, he owns it. So I will take a L on the equipment that I have invested in. Maybe I'll sell it. Um, that's a good possibility, but I will not be supporting this at all. It's supporting anything. He is batshit crazy. And so, yeah. Mm-mm. Can't I agree with you. We have to, and there's been some lists that have gone around about different organizations and companies and how they've spent their money this election cycle. Like I always knew Home Depot was the and I think the Trump supporters, and I think I've known that for a very long time. I spend my money in Lowe's, and so we have to. Um, I think Walmart was on the list, and then they were saying Target did not contribute. Sometimes it is spending more money, but again, also knowing where your money is going and what you're supporting. And not everybody has the luxury, because it is a luxury to say I'm going to shop at Target versus Walmart from a depending on your budget and a price perspective. So it is a luxury. So we can't say everybody should do that, but if you can, that is something to absolutely consider. Um, I'm glad you're here, child free Jera. I'm glad you needed this talk and have found your way here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, no, I don't need that stress. I don't need that stuff in my home or my psyche. Good morning, Anita, AC Anita Creations. Um, Kimmy Apple, longtime listener, first time commentator. I agree with every single word you're saying. No, fu- foolala. Um, 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 all these longtime listeners who haven't commented, y'all better get on in here and talk. This is a safe space. We chat. So welcome. I'm happy to have y'all here. Please feel free to comment. Um, and we're not doing it. Shedding anything that slows us down. That's what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. Um, no, so I don't live in Mexico, and I'm gonna be working on getting residency somewhere, but I don't live in Mexico. I do love San Miguel. I did fall in love with San Miguel, my community out there in City Market, the grocery store. But I do want to have the ability to, as Stephanie would call it, bop about and travel throughout different countries. And I'm not as of right now, and I'm gonna keep saying as of right now because I am I have learned not to say never. I don't intend to live out of the States full time, but that could change just as stuff over here is changing. Um, yes, always taking happens daily in our San Miguel group. Yeah, the coming in, teach me this, tell me this. When some of that you gotta research yourself, and then oftentimes those folks ain't getting ready to do anything, and you've wasted your free labor at that. Marissa and I say we're not giving out anymore. You've wasted free labor answering that question, and they ain't getting ready to do nothing. So, um, yeah, that's we're not doing that anymore. We're helping folks, but we're also teaching them how to fish. Find the information. Once you have the information, if you have some questions, we're absolutely here to support you. But you got to be willing to invest and do the work yourself. It's like I remember growing up, and older people used to talk about the how stuff was more appreciated by kids if they had to earn it. And growing up as a kid, I didn't ever appreciate that. Like, just give me the thing, and it didn't make sense to me. Like, why can't you just give it to me? Until I became a parent, and I understood that completely. You care more about stuff when you've had to work for it, when you've had to earn it, and you're more likely to do something with that stuff when you've worked for it and had to earn it. And so that is part of this same conversation. Come in and put in some effort and put in the work, and don't just expect that people are going to do the work for you. We are here to be in community and to support, but not do the work for you. Um, Absolutely. Day is saying, are you moving to Mexico or Panama? I thought the latter. So I'm not necessarily moving anywhere. Y'all know I have my tiny house as my home base here, but I want to be in Mexico. I want to be in Panama. I want to have the ability to stay in a place if I need to. So I want to establish some residency somewhere to do the legal steps. Like I say, I carry um, my passport in my purse. I want to be in a position so if if need be, I have put my long game strategy, my chess plays in place so that I can look out for myself and do what I need to do if I feel like I'm no longer safe in the United States. That's part of my long game strategy. It's not I'm not necessarily, like I said, I'm not saying right now that I'm leaving, but I want to be in a position where if I do need to leave, I have the ability to do so. And both of those places are on my list. I love Panama, and I also love San Miguel. Um, Kimmy is saying, for the 92% of black women and 80% of black men who actively voted against this election outcome, please stand down and let the universe teach the others their lessons for their choices. Stay out of their way, please. Look, folks got to earn their karma. I agree with that. We're not saving nobody. Sometimes you have to learn the consequences and the errors of your ways, and sometimes that stuff smacks you right in the face, and that's what folks will have to learn. Unfortunately, some of those consequences will also negatively impact us, but for the folks who supported it, it's going to really smack them because we knew, and they apparently had some false hope of some unexpected um, benefit with proximity to whiteness. Y'all gonna figure that out. It can show you better than it can tell you. Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of impact. Bridget says, I saw you on the Future of Black Women in the U.S. That was a powerful forum. Thank you. Tracy Collins, who is in the comments, that's her channel. So if you make sure you subscribe to her channel as well. But thank you for watching that. I enjoyed that conversation. That's my San Miguel community that when I was out being a social butterfly in San Miguel, that was the community that took me in. Tracy is saying Project 2025 has been in place since Reagan. I believe it. I didn't know that, but I absolutely believe it because they playing like, well, they playing chess, not checkers. The war on the black community, the war on drugs, all of those things, the prison, the school to prison pipeline. I think it's another word for that. All of those things are, I'm sure, out of the playbook of the overall Project 2025. This ain't nothing new for them. The the foundation of the United States is white supremacy, built on the backs of black folks, built by black folks, and the early document said we were 3/5 of a person, and in order to undo all of that, this society would have to be burnt down and start from the beginning. They doing that shit. And so yeah, it is the core outline was established then, and they just continue flushing out the outline and adding more to it. So I that's not surprising, but that's like learning water is wet. I always use a B when I talk about us as black folks. It's always a capital B for me. Put some respect on us. Absolutely, I agree with that. Did the live freeze? Day is saying the live. froze. Rest is resistance. We are far from lazy and will rest. I love the meme that I've seen that says, or and it's on some T-shirts that says they've been calling us lazy ever since enslavement. We stopped working for free. They've been calling us lazy ever since. We ain't working for free, and we ain't lazy. But that's the lie that they want to tell themselves because we no longer do their bidding. Um, right. Marissa saying people of color is used to reinforce white dominance. Yeah, that's it's gonna be practice for me. So like this is from Actively Black. I don't know if you can see it where it says the global majority. It's the reframing for me of terminology, but I'm done with all of that. Absolutely. Make Tracy say make sure your passport has more than a year before it expires. Absolutely. Um, Catherine is saying I'm learning to speak Spanish, and I'm going to get a passport. Catherine, get that passport. I'm 62 and have never flown. It's time before I run out of time. Get that passport, Catherine. That's on your list. We will be your accountability group to make sure you do that sooner than later. They have expedited ways to do that now. I would absolutely encourage you to do it before um, January 2025. Now is the time. And like you said, it's time to fly, to get on out of here, learn your Spanish. That's further down on my chest game, but I absolutely want to do that so I can feel like I'm respecting folks in their countries and I can speak to them and not expect that they should accommodate me. Absolutely, Tracy. Absolutely. Um, Audrey is saying, shut up, we are twins. My circle includes 4 people. I had this conversation with a friend earlier today, and she was saying about her circle, and I think as we get older, we recognize that the circle it doesn't have to be large because what we know is it's about quality and not quantity. So, absolutely, we don't have to be the welcome wagon. I think I probably showed my age. Some of y'all might know welcome wagon. I almost think my mother did something with welcome wagon, and that's how I know it. We don't have to be I'm not doing it. I'm not the welcome wagon. Merces, do you know welcome wagon? I'm not doing it. Um, absolutely, uh, absolutely. Let's see. Day, you doing okay? Did you tell us you were okay? I see you posting, but are you okay? That's what we need to know. Um, uh, uh, um, Absolutely. I concur, Tracy. Folks were mad with me when I said that. Um, Marissa saying to use that mental energy to pour into yourself. Okay, let's see. Michelle saying every time I try to downsize and declutter family with OTS of clutter, seem to think something is going on with me. I have to move quietly. Um, we've always said you can't share your dreams with everybody. And I agree. Sometimes you just got to move and do things and not offer conversation about it. And but I also feel like so many of us should be starting to see things differently and to understand why, even if prior to we haven't understood the need to declutter and to downsize, like it is that it should be coming. Some of that should start be making sense now for some folks, but where it hasn't in the past. But I still wouldn't allow it to deter me, like you're saying. Um, okay, so Dave, thank you for the update. Um, Evelyn, welcome. I'm glad you are here, and I'm glad you needed this conversation, and you're in the right place. Um, Carol is saying, appreciate this call driving, so cannot post like I want. No, we want you to arrive and drive safely. Glad to see your name in the chat. Happy that you're here. Um, be safe. Teresa is saying, check the feelings at the door and keep it moving. Absolutely. Um, Keisha is saying, I live in New Orleans trying to move my life to a blue state and I am in the military. Hate this. Do what you can. Don't let it don't let it stress you. Um, do what you can. Like there are going to be some limitations. If you're in the military, there are going to be some limitations. But what you can do if you can't physically move yourself is surround yourself with the community to support that that mentality, that mindset of a blue state until you can physically move if that's what you need to do. But do what you can. Uh, Arnell said the same thing. Move to where you can thrive. The color of the state really doesn't matter anymore. All the best to you. You will always you will find your place. Absolutely. And like I was saying, surround yourself, even if you cannot physically move yourself. Surrounding yourself with a community of folks that can support you will be some will be part of your chess game strategy. Bridget is saying Walmart owns Lowe's. I gotta look that up. I didn't know that. Um, Thank you, Bridget. Um, uh, I'm glad y'all are here. Happy Sunday to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Um, yes, adored San Miguel. Chanel saying, if we spend a billion a year, we have the economic power to make a difference. We haven't fixed our economic power since the civil rights era. Um, when does the boycott start? Again, that goes back to us being more cooperative and as a collective community, which is um, how segregation helped us because we could focus and have those conversations and um, the bus boycott and all of the things. And so that is now that we're more dispersed in folks in the midst, we miss those opportunities. Um, I agree with that. Those again, going back to the conversation of did integration help us or harm us? Um, Keisha's saying, when are we doing a Bohemian Soul followers trip? Oh, like a, a followers trip, like a meetup? Keisha, tell me what you're talking about. Thank you, Teresa. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, buy merchandise, all of the things. Thank you. Thank you so much. Keisha, tell me what you're talking about. Um, Girl, you better. I am another long-time listener, first time chiming in. Girl, I be listening and not chatting, but I truly love this community. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All y'all folks who I appreciate y'all chiming in, make sure you like the channel, you subscribe to it, so we can continue to grow. But I'm grateful that y'all are here and y'all are listeners, and I appreciate that chiming in today. Um, Pat is saying the wall that they talk about building is to keep us in, not necessarily to keep folks out. There's a Goody Mob song that says that same thing. I am a Goody Mob. You know, I consider Atlanta home, and Goody Mob has that exact song that about a community in Atlanta that they built a black housing community, and that's exactly what they say. Who is it? The keep our ass in, or keep folks out of keep our ass in. And when you think about it, that's exactly what it is. Um, um, So Patty saying words are powerful, so I refuse to utter white supremacy, and instead say white insecurities created this toxic environment. So I usually, the lie of white supremacy is what I sometimes say, because it is absolutely a lie. And so thank you for that reminder. Um, the lie of white supremacy, because it is absolutely a lie. Um, Yes, I have the Freedom, Georgia. The black folks who purchased a community in Georgia. It's Freedom, Georgia. I know a couple of them and have been in conversation with them. I don't know exactly what they're doing right now, but yes. Let's see. Let's see. Right. It's faster to get. Arnell is saying it's faster to get a bin expedited passport. Either way, I wouldn't wait too long. The rush is surely about to occur again. Absolutely, I would work on getting my passport right now too. Linda says I promised myself to work on securing my passport. Put that on your Christmas list. As we're talking about not acquiring stuff and getting rid of stuff, gifts like contributions towards the passport or somebody paying for the passport um, is um, is is where something helpful versus um, something that you don't really need. That is a excellent idea. Um, Frederick is saying, um, he hadn't heard the phrase welcome wagon before. So it was folks that used to go, I'm trying to see if they're still in existence. They used to go door to door to the neighbors to kind of welcome you into the community. Um, Welcome Wagon is a marketing business in the United States and formerly in Canada that contacts new homeowners after relocation, providing them with coupons and advertisements for local businesses. So they used to come by and have like a basket of stuff from the local area. And I think my mother used to do Welcome Wagon. My mother did my marketing and sales is my mother's thing, so that's how I know all of this stuff. But when I said we're not the Welcome Wagon, I absolutely showed my age. Um, Yes, Arnell is saying, I don't care if your family members have never left the country. Encourage them to get their one star ID and to get their one star ID and two, their passport. That's part of the chess game, the long term strategy. Um, when I say I keep my passport on me, to not have the ability to leave this country if um, the poop hits the fan. I think I've said several cuss words. I don't want to have to mark my video as for adults only. That's not a good strategy to not be able to leave if you need to. Like that's not have like in building a house, um, you need to have egress windows, egress doors, a means to get out said house should something happen, should there be a fire. Um, you need to have an egress strategy. Again, we're not operating in fear. I'm not doing the fear mongering and telling folks to leave, but I absolutely would not be here without a means to leave, and a passport is the means to leave. So even if, like Arnell is saying, even if you've never left, have no plans to leave, it is a smart idea to still have your passport. Still have your passport, Carol. I amen that one. Um, Dina is saying hello, new. I love all you are doing. I need to do more now. From now, thank you. From now on, thank you. Very welcome, and welcome to our Sunday Soul Collective conversation. Kitty is saying, please finish up strong in 2024. Stay focused on your dreams, goals, and vision. Don't let anything stop you. Remember your value and worth. Excellent summary for this conversation. Absolutely. Um, Cynthia is saying she coached her brother-in-law yesterday to get his passport ASAP. Absolutely. Carol, I'm glad you're being safe. Um, Thank you, Zara. Please um, Bridget is saying, can we support you in Zelle or any other app? Absolutely. Zelle. What is Zelle? Thank you for asking. I think I have something here. Do I have Zelle? Um, my Zelle link. My Zelle is my email address, which is, thank you kindly. I appreciate the ask. Uh, uh, See you, Audra. Thank you. Have a good day. All right. Yes, absolutely. Um, Mina knew my Goody Mob reference. I am a Atlanta music head. Um, Evelyn is saying she just brought her 26-year-old daughter in the room to listen. I will definitely share the link to Miss Bohemian Soul. That is one of the things that we have to do is reach back and pull in these young people. The further we get from knowing what our ancestors went through in the United States and the blueprint, as somebody said earlier, that they left us of how we have to survive and how we, in that survival, also thrive and take care of ourselves. Um, so many of us have gotten comfortable or further away from that to not realize that that is still the same United States. And so we have to always be focused on um, what it takes for us to be safe, what it takes for us to be able to thrive, what it takes for us to be able to um, survive, but just not like survive just has such a, I don't want to say a negative connotation, but it doesn't invoke the thriving piece of it. So we're surviving, but we're also thriving, and we have to remember that. And that's what we were talking about. This game of chess, not checkers. Like we're making educated moves. We're making long term big game moves, big strategy moves, and we're identifying what our strategy is, what our goals are, how we achieve that, the foundation to achieve that. We're being nimble. We're when we move left and realize we need to move right, we have the flexibility to pivot and go in that direction because we're nimble, we're light, we are um, shedding the things that hold us back. We're shedding the people, places, and things that hold us back. We're being in community. We're supporting each other. We are encouraging each other. We are helping each other learn. We are supporting each other. We are being good people in community. We're taking something to the community. We are offering reciprocity. We're not just taking, we're also giving. We are rejoicing in our blackness. Like, one of the things, sometimes you see folks and say it's exhausting to be black. No, it's not exhausting to be black. I love being black. It is exhausting to be blackness. It is exhausting to exist in a anti-black society. That is what is exhausting. Being black isn't exhausting. Being black for me is a beautiful thing. I wouldn't want to be anything else. And so it is recognizing that we are holding tight to our joy and we are still celebrating who we are as a people. We're not shrinking. We're taking care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of the leaves, all of those things. That is what we know we have to do. That is the thing that we know we have to encourage our younger folks in our community and all of those things. So yeah, bring them in the room. Zara saying, please take time to deep breathe throughout the day. Absolutely. When we were talking about your meditation game, your prayer game, long-term chess strategy. Those are the things that you need to sustain you. Um, Bridget is saying I'm learning to get smart. Absolutely. Um, can someone give me instructions? I'm used to doing this via phone for Zelle. Keisha. If you go to Zelle, you can enter a telephone number or an email address, and once you enter either one, I believe it comes up and offers you the option to select the person. All right, good people. It's almost 2 o'clock. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Hi, Geraldine. Finding peace is saying a wise woman once told me to be like the wind and change when necessary. This is sage advice. Absolutely. You can't be heavy as a rock and not be movable, not have the flexibility to change directions, reverse, go left, go right, back up. I already said reverse, go forward. You have to have that lightness and that flexibility. All right, good to see you, JW. Absolutely. Okay, let me see if there's something else I'm missing. Michelle is saying that's a good point. Being black is not exhausting. Anti-blackness is what is exhausting. Absolutely. Um, absolutely. All right, good people. Um, I actually made watch your media consumption. Watch what you're taking in to your spirit, into your psyche, into your all of that. As I keep talking about having a mini stroke, all of that is stressing your what is it, your cortisol. That all of that is creating stress in your body. So, hi Cassandra, welcome, very welcome. Thank you, Posh Couture. I like the way you spell couture. Um, be in community. Like, take some extra over these next few weeks as this is settling in and as we are headed in this direction. Be kind to yourself. Um, take some special care of yourself and surround yourself with people who support that and sustain that, and prioritize your wellness and them boundaries. All right, happy Sunday, folks. Don't forget, if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, turn on the notifications so you'll know to be back next Sunday. Thank you, Kitty. Be in community, do all the things. If you need to build your community, if you need some accountability partners, if you um, if you I've got Zelle. I'm adding the not, I didn't mean to say Zelle. I saw somebody say they missed the Zelle handle. I just shared it again. If you need some accountability partners, y'all know I never share my links. Let me do that before we go now. I have a whole document to do this, and I didn't do it. You want to get on my calendar. Here is the link to get on my calendar. If you want to take a workshop, I'm going to give you the link to get in a workshop. And then Patreon, if you want to get in the Patreon community, I am working with Tracy to take us to another platform that allows us to connect better than Patreon does. But if you want to join a community, Patreon allows us to have a little more intimate conversation and be able to actually see each other. We use Zoom and have conversations there. Um, Join us in Patreon, and I'm trying to look for my. I call myself getting organized, and now I don't see it. Um, Here it is. Sorry, y'all. I needed to stop talking to find it. Um, Patreon. Join us on Patreon if you want more of a dedicated community and a more intimate community. And we'll be, like I said, working on another platform to actually facilitate better conversation. Patreon, we have next Wednesday, we have our monthly conversation. So we meet once a month in Patreon to check in on people's statuses on their projects that they're working on. It's an accountability group. We also have some education. So that allows us to be a little more connected. So join us there if you would like to. Um, Thank you, Kimmy. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday. Have a good week. Be safe. Absolutely, Geraldine. Do all the things to take care of you, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank y'all for being here, for being my community. Y'all take care.